This is the Seahawkers podcast, episode 474. I'm Brandon Schultz, and I am joined live on a Tuesday night with my good buddy Adam Emmert.
Hey, Tuesday night. Happy to join you live, especially after a nice dub against the stupid Pittsburgh Steelers. That felt good, man. What a fun game overall. Lots of ups and downs. Lots to talk about for sure. Really excited that the defense sent Aaron Rodgers on another darkness streak. Like, see ya.
Yeah, just he maybe took a darkness retreat out there on the field, maybe while we weren't even watching. So, yeah, nice to see the defense take care of Aaron Rodgers. Nice to see some folks joining us live. We've got Ryan 911. We've got James Stradley. We've got Clinton producing in the background. We've got one of our members out here too in the snail waving hi. Appreciate everybody joining us live. And Adam, yes, our Seahawks, with this defense, with this 31-17 win, with it being week 2 and maybe some of the overreactions of week 1 behind us, are there some things that you're able to learn from 2 weeks of Seahawks football that maybe you weren't sure about after 1 week of Seahawks football?
Well, I wasn't sure about anything after week 1 because it's 1 week, and that's not enough of a sample size to really know much of anything. With that said, watching the defense at the end of last year, watching them in week 1 perform they did against the 49ers, and then come out and do what they did against the Steelers this last week, I'm pretty confident in saying that this defense is real, and it's going to look a lot like this for the vast majority of the year, as long as health, stays as we all hope it does. You end up with a couple really bad injuries that can change things, but that's any team. Right. This defense is great.
And they were dealing with some injuries this week, and that was, I think, one of the concerns was how would they look with Spoon out? How would Reek rebound after a couple bad snaps right at the end of the game against the Niners? And I think that as any concern that I may have had with the depth in the secondary, like I am really happy with seeing the players that we did come in and fill behind, because I had my questions about Josh Jobe and whether or not he was going to be able to be a consistent presence at cornerback. And now after 2 weeks and seeing what Josh Jobe's done in just 2 weeks, I'm ready to overreact on Jobe, and I'm super excited about him being on the field more.
Is it an overreaction if it's a proper reaction? I'm not sure that is an overreaction. We watched Josh Jobe really flourish last year, and then coming this year and is stacking another year on top of last year. And I think probably the most impressive thing to me about the defense is exactly what you're hovering around here. The idea that without Spoon, Woolen having to struggle a little bit week 1, and I'm saying that nicely, and everything that was going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense that is going to throw the rock quite a bit with Aaron Rodgers. We've seen that now for 2 weeks, and with DK Metcalf coming in motivated, that was a tall task to get after that group with the likes of Kendrick and Jobe and Griffin, and not the guys that you're looking at and being like, these are our dudes, our stars of our secondary, yet they came through with flying colors. Mike Macdonald has such clear, concise, precise language for his defense that they all know exactly where to be, where to go, and they're flying around, and they're all playing fast. And it does all go back to coaching at some point when you can see the plug-and-play nature of the way they're using their backups and having the type of success as some of the starters do.
And I think that's why it really locks it in for me with the secondary in particular, because DK Metcalf coming into this game, like, you had to know that there was motivation there. And so I expected to see a really motivated DK Metcalf paired up with Aaron Rodgers. We even knew from last week, like, Aaron Rodgers' arm, it still functions, and he's able to sling it around. They gave him enough protection that I wasn't sure how our defensive line would be able to get to him. We can get to the defensive line as well. But sticking with the secondary and that ability to lock down DK, 20 receiving yards. Yes, he had a touchdown, but just 3 catches on 6 targets. And a big part of that was Josh Jobe being able to lock him down. There were times where Jobe was up playing press coverage on DK and able to disrupt the timing of a route, able to disrupt DK enough that he wasn't able to hang on to the football. And when I saw that from Jobe, it's like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to believe with Josh Jobe. You're on mute.
Sorry, that might happen a couple times. I've got a little bit of a cough going on today, so like, just keep trying to mute it when I can. But you're totally correct about Jobe, and the way that he answers the bell every single time his number is called is super impressive. Love the kid. Really excited for him in his journey. It was awesome.
Nate Smeltzer in chat saying, y'all say we're a road warrior team under Mike Macdonald at this point after 9 away games. 9 away games. Or did we have an extra away game last year? Either way, we're getting up there, and we're to the point now where they've won 7 road games in a row under Coach Mike. It's really impressive that they're able to do this and do it against a team in their home opener with the Steelers. Now, I still have my questions about how good of a team ultimately the Steelers are. But to be able to do that, to be in a position of a tie game going into the fourth quarter, one of the things that we learned this last week is the preparation that Mike took them through, and maybe took them through because of his familiarity with Pittsburgh and being with the Ravens and knowing, in the fourth quarter, they like to play a song in the stadium that gets them fired up. And so he played that for the team in practice and had this plan that it was going to get his team fired up if they're in that type of close game scenario. Like, that's the level of detail that I know that I would not be coaching a team to.
Absolutely not. Mainly because I don't really pay attention to what's playing over the loudspeakers at any given point. So, but good for Coach Mike. He's got the secret sauce figured out for how to get this team prepared and hyped for their road games. And it's tough because you got to bring your own energy to the road games.
Yeah.
And they're such a connected unit. And he's really, one of the things that we talked about with Pete when he was here was culture. And we talked about it all the time and how magical it was, the way that Pete was able to do that. One of the things that was going to be difficult to do was to reproduce a really good culture in that carries over some of the fundamentals of what Pete had built, but to make it Mike's own. And he's done that. And that's a massive, massive thing for a young first-time head coach, and nothing but impressed by it, man. He was the right hire, and it's been really exciting to watch his defense get down here early in this season in the top 10 in scoring defense already, only allowing 17 points per game. That's pretty cool.
17 points per game, and having to do it with an offense that maybe has put the defense in position a couple of different times to have to defend short fields. And so that's, to me, what makes it even more impressive of what the defense has been able to do through these first couple games. Man, it would look so much different if we were able to close it out and actually have that win over the Niners. But for them to do what they did against the Steelers, and then late be able to shut them down once they got a little bit of a lead, and to do it, I think to do it in the way they did up front with the pressure is really impressive, because not only are they one of the top defenses in terms of points allowed, they're one of the top defenses in being able to generate pressure without blitzing, and doing that with this front four and doing it in a way that it's kind of rotated, and even through 2 games given a lot of different pieces the ability to shine, including Byron Murphy in this game against the Steelers.
Yeah, absolutely. The team rush that they are putting on with just 4, that is the secret sauce of defense in the NFL right now. If you can get pressure with just 4 without having to make the gamble of blitzing all over the place, you're going to be way ahead of the game. And then you watch Mike develop a young player here with Byron Murphy. And we talked about Murphy in the offseason. We heard him speak on his desire to become better in the pass rush and thinking that he could. And I think just based off his tape at Texas, it was fairly obvious. It's like, oh yeah, he can put this together. And boy, howdy, is he getting after it. Sack and a half, and Then he also had at least one other TFL in there as well. And then you pair that with the rest of his group really being disruptive and maybe not always getting the sack numbers and getting that, finish it off with a sack, but making it tough on the quarterback. And you saw it flustered Aaron a bit here and there.
And I like seeing a flustered Aaron Rodgers. It makes it fun when he's looking downfield and shrugging at potential or making a holding gesture when the defensive player didn't even touch the receiver. That's kind of fun. That's the kind of Aaron Rodgers that I like to see. Pouty Aaron Rodgers.
Crybaby shit ass Rodgers. Yeah, that's the best Rodgers. Yeah, by far.
Well, and being able to be so disruptive and point to so many guys, Byron Murphy being one of them with 4 different pressures, Derek Hall 4 pressures. Then you saw Big Cat making plays when I was telling Clinton the other day that my favorite play from the defense the entire day was when they get down toward the goal line. I think it must have been after the big, it was right before the interception. And they run the ball on second down, and Big Cat just stands up the guard and chucks him, like just rips him, does a rip move and throws him to the ground, and then catches the running back and pulls him backward. And then it was the very next play that Aaron Rodgers throws the interception that Kendrick catches, Darian Kendrick.
Yeah, and Kendrick should have had 2. And we talked about this at the end of our recap show, just like how great of a game Kendrick had coming off the bench and just how right you were and how dead wrong I was. And I'm here for it, man. That was a super great call by you. Kendrick was quick and feisty in just getting after all game. And, there's a reason he plays corner instead of wide receiver. And
yeah, because they hit him in the hands.
On the one pick. But he had a great pick on the other one. Like, that was really well done.
Well, and an assist by Calvin Austin, too, who went backward and tipped it literally right into the arms of Kendrick. But at least he was able to catch it that time and not have it bounce off of his hands.
Hey, man, you got to be putting in the effort. You have to be in position to get that kind of luck and the good bounces, in one of our flockers right here talking about one of our other little flockers, Brandon. This is great. I love this.
Ryan 911 with a $9.99 super chat. Happy birthday, Josh Jobe. Great addition to the Discord, which you can join at getintheflock.com. Yeah, happy birthday to Josh, coming a day after Pete Carroll's birthday. How about that?
Heck yeah. And thank you, Ryan. And that's what live executive producing looks like right there. Like, it's the call to action in there and everything like that. But seriously, to Josh, merry birthday, my man. Thank you for being a part of our group and a part of the Discord. It's, he's a very unique voice among all of us and on the positive end of things. And it's great. And we just love having you. And I hope you had a great day, bud.
Yep. Big thanks to Ryan and big thanks to Jacob Wilson coming in live with a $2 super chat. Appreciate that as well. So, yeah, with this defense, with them getting after it, are there any other pieces in particular with this Seahawks defense that I try to think of the one, not the one negative play, but there was the play where DeMarcus Lawrence, he looked a little bit lost out on the field as Aaron Rodgers ran a fake. But I think that was happening more often to the Steelers, to where our Seahawks defenders were making some of the Steelers players look a little bit lost, maybe lost out in space. And Ernest Jones, one of those guys that I feel like we can't go without calling out on this defense in year 2 and really looking like in command of the middle of this defense.
Absolutely. Let's put a pin in Ernest for half a tick, because I want to defend DeMarcus Lawrence just a little bit okay. on the trickery that Aaron Rodgers pulled on him. Look, Aaron Rodgers is a tricky guy. He's been tricking starlets to date him for years now, when he's clearly somebody you never want to be around. Like, he's tricky. So I can understand why he fell for that. Aaron Rodgers also got him on a hard count in the game too. So tough day for D-Law a little bit there. But coming back to Ernest, in total command, he's the captain. Him, Leo, and Spoon. Like, that's the backbone of this defense. And it's really incredible to see Ernest build on last year, where he came in and just really solidified this and brought Mike's vision to life. and it's a joy to watch. And he just crushes people in the hole. He's playing super fast and downhill. I love Ernest Jones. It's been awesome. Listening to him at the podium too. DCH had sent me a text talking about that and just how he might be his favorite Seahawk now, and just agreed. Just all around awesome guy.
I'm having a hard time picking a favorite at this point.
Ed Lucas.
On the defense, you can have a favorite on each side of the football.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't know. All right, well then I have to think about that for a minute.
Okay. The Comic Binge coming in live saying, why in the catfish did the Rams give up Kendrick? Dude brought some attitude. Yeah, that was the thing that stood out to me, is knowing that Spoon was going to be out, going back and watching some of those highlight plays, reminding me of the highlight plays that he brought as a member of the Rams against our Seahawks. And I can't for the life of me understand why they would take that chance, because he was a guy who was injured last season with an ACL injury. And so maybe they just thought that they could get him through waivers at the end of the 53-man cut down day and slip him by everybody and get him onto the practice squad. So credit to John Schneider for being out there, watching the waiver wire, and knowing that this dude did some damage against us a couple years back and could be coming off of that ACL injury and ready to make a statement. And that's exactly how it looked to me, is that he was getting back to his 2023 form.
Well, I do love that John has gotten over on the Rams with both Ernest Jones now and now Kendrick. That makes me very happy.
Can we go
I love
for the
that.
trifecta?
We can. But before we go for the trifecta, Brandon,
yeah,
we're gonna have you turn your audio up just a tiny bit. I think.
All right.
I think Michael Knight was saying that it was getting a little soft today, and we need full Brandon after an awesome win like we got this weekend.
All right. I'll try and boost it up a little bit for Michael Knight. See, this is what live executive producing is also about, is that you can let us know if our equipment is not up to the normal standard. And
yeah,
that's how you know.
We gotta keep the standard around here. We know that, which is breathing and on camera.
Two important things. But
yeah,
another important thing as we get over to the offense. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can we go for the trifecta? Was this the game that solidified that maybe we can get the trifecta going against the Rams, with Cooper Kupp having a pretty good day with 7 catches out of 8 targets and getting up there close to 100 yards receiving as well?
Yeah. Kupp went out there and he executed the game plan and was where he was supposed to be. He's not out there cooking dudes in man-to-man coverage and doing some of the things that he used to do in his younger years, but getting to his spots, being available, all that. And that is, you want maybe a little more out of your number 2 than that ultimately, but it was good enough for Sunday. And I do enjoy that when he catches the ball, instead of doing the backwards turn like we see receivers do all over the league all day, every day, that makes me want to throw something at the TV, he puts his foot in the ground and he gets running forward. And even without any speed anymore, he still manages to get a bunch of yak doing that, which is awesome.
He did.
He was fine.
911.
He was fine. I'm not going to look, if you want to say that that's a great game, then you're not calibrating your, like, JSN had a very good game. It wasn't great. It was close.
Yeah.
Like, there's not everything can be great. In fact, the majority of things are average. That's why it's average. And that was a pretty good game. I mean, it was a good game. Like, it shouldn't knock your socks off that he ran, as Brandon put it, earlier in the week we were talking, like, Cooper Kupp ran to some spots and got the ball thrown to him. Like, he just ran to the open spot that he was told to. That's fine. Like, good. And here's the last thing about it. I don't have to like Cooper Kupp. I don't. There's nothing in the rule book that says I have to. I know it's my own thing. It's my own personal sports hate. And I know it's slightly irrational, but it's mine. And that's how I feel about it. If you want to love him and you think it's great, you can. It's totally allowed, and no worries.
This is why I love the live shows, because we have people celebrating in chat now that Adam used the word good with Cooper Kupp's game. Not okay, not all right, not mediocre, fine. Not fine. You said the word good.
Yeah. Okay. It's good minus. How about that?
I went on to the Fringe Fanatics podcast earlier today, and we were talking a little bit of Cooper Kupp, because I was thinking about this too. What would really solidify it for me that Kupp's in that position to where I feel like he has reached because part of this too, Adam, it's not the fact that well, for you, and both of us, it's part of the fact that he was a former Ram. Part of the fact was he went to Eastern Washington University. But the other part is like the salary plays into any free agent contract that you bring on. And I think for me to really be able to justify the free agent contract part of Kupp is having the red zone production, having some touchdown catches, being able to see that part of his game and that part of the contribution to the offense. We're not there yet, but we got to see some production. It wasn't red zone, end zone production, but I feel like the potential's there.
Yeah. So we have a sample size of 2 of Kupp in a Seahawks uniform, and game 1 was close to a 0, and game 2 was good. There. Are you happy?
You did it. You did
Good.
it. Well done.
It's fine.
Michael Knight coming in with a $5 super chat. So we talked Kupp, JSN. This game against the Steelers, and the one aspect that I want to talk about in particular with JSN and the one long catch, I want to make a comment about Klint Kubiak in this game, because we saw after 1 week of no play action, we saw Coach Mike come out and say, this is a problem on offense that I want to see fixed. And then, to his credit, Klint Kubiak listened to his boss and came out the very next week and then did things that his boss wanted him to do, like continue to run the football and run play action. And it showed up not only in the stat line with Torrey Horton getting his first NFL touchdown, it showed up with that big throw downfield to JSN.
It really did. And look, there's a couple calls throughout the game that I didn't love with Kubiak. The 4th and 1 being probably the number 1 of those. Yeah. But with that said, when you're comparing last week to this week, to your point, Brandon, getting more play action involved. I don't know what the percentage was this week. Didn't look it up, but it was obviously more.
It was more than 2.
Yeah, you don't need to be a rocket surgeon to figure that part out. And being able to take some shots. And that was something that I was complaining about a little after last week was you got to get the ball downfield, even if you're not completing them, just to make the defense respect it. But the thing is the big shot to JSN, they completed it. And it was a B throw by Darnold. So like a very good throw, not amazing. Gets it out just a little bit more in front of him. This is being nitpicky. Like, it might be, for more. But with that said, JSN did a great job with the contested catch. And I think we should all be really excited about him proving early on in the season that he is a legit number 1. And that was something I had concerns about coming into this year because we just hadn't seen it. I said in the offseason, I thought he could get there, but we need to see it. And we're seeing it. And he's the one who's cooking dude one-on-one. He's the guy that's getting open on the quick slants and picking up key third downs. That's JSN, baby, and he's crushing it. So big season for him so far, and just tip of the cap, man. Like, awesome job.
Running the football as much as they did, it also helped allow play action to work as much as it did. And you were wondering how those numbers changed. There were 12 drop back play action passes, which turned into 10 actual attempts. But to go from 2 to go to 12, that helps. And the reason why I wanted to point it out and talk about that JSN play in particular, you go back and you watch how the defense reacts as the tight end goes in motion in front of Darnold. And as soon as the tight end goes into motion, the safety drops down to help cover the strong, what would then be the strong side with the tight end going to that side of the alignment. And as soon as that happens, that's what frees up the one-on-one to happen. And on that play, only 2 wide receivers actually went into route. They were in max protect for Sam Darnold. And there were way more guys able there to protect Sam as he dropped back, and then has the one-on-one with Jalen Ramsey. And then that's why it's so impressive for JSN to do what he does. He then cooks Jalen Ramsey, future Hall of Famer, and gets inside the red zone.
Oh, so good too. I love it when we take advantage of Ramsey. He's just been such a pain in our ass for so long. He still had some big hits and obviously the interception in the game, but nice to see JSN get his over top of him, and good play call by Kubiak there. And it was a lot of fun watching the offense, watching Sam Darnold go out and have a very efficient game with some ups, with some downs. I would say that was a very good performance out of Sam Darnold as a whole, especially that third down play where he spun out and was able to get the ball up and down to the tight end and keep the drive alive. That's a good play. But what impressed me the most about Sam throughout this game was his toughness. I mean, that throw to Horton, I think you guys discussed it in 3 and 3 out, but dude, I mean, he got blowed the bleep up after he let go of that ball, and he knew it was coming. It wasn't a mystery. And that's the type of stuff that really endears you to your teammates. And that's why he was celebrated as he was by his Vikings teammates closer towards the end of last year before what happened. But with that said, good game, a very good game out of Sam Darnold. Efficient, did what he needed to do, and was tough as nails. And, that's something to celebrate, is his toughness. No doubt about it.
Sean Scotchman, one of our members out on YouTube, coming in saying, LOL, Ramsey looked like a poor man's cornerback. Not only JSN, but Horton got him too. And we've also got Neverender coming in with a $2 super chat, so appreciate that to Neverender. And
I've been trying to come up with a two somethings, 1 cup joke for like 2-3 weeks now. I can't find it, but there it was right there. That was well done.
Yep, 2 curls, 1 cup. Dan Nicholson, CPA, coming in with a $9.99 super chat saying, love the content. We love that you're joining us here live, Dan. And also love that Mary Prentice joining us live. Talk about K9 and how awesome he was. Kenneth Walker, 100 yards plus on the day. And I went back and I'm trying to just come up with the reason why K9 had a good day. Zach Charbonnet did not have a good day. I think I have the definitive answer, but why don't we go to Mary's point and talk about just how awesome K9 was against the Steelers?
Absolutely. And thanks for teeing it up, Mary. I've been kind of saving it because this is, I couldn't be more excited about that K9 performance, because if this doesn't kill the K9 dances narrative that should have been dead a full season ago, at the very least, then I don't know what will. I don't want to hear it anymore that K9 dances too much, because it's just factually not true. And this would be an easy game to turn on the tape and point to. Getting north-south, running up the gut, and being crazy effective at it while still not giving up his elusiveness in his burst. Like, that was, you get those performances out of Kenneth Walker III, and this offense all of a sudden is scary as all hell, because he's going to be the man that you look at for your explosive plays. And I love it, man. More Kenneth Walker. If he can keep his availability going, then we're cooking with gas here. And I think with that said, the whole dancing around narrative and all that, why didn't Charbonnet have success? I mean, this points right to the games we looked at when Charbonnet would have success and Ken didn't. And we were like, there just wasn't a lot of holes there for whatever reason when Ken was running. That's what happened to Charbonnet. It's not because he was dancing too much or any of that freaking nonsense. Like, he just didn't have a good day because it didn't quite work out. Plus, they were running him more to the outside, which I'm not sure is his strength. And to Jacob's point, zone versus gap scheme.
Zone.
Yep, running more zone with Charbs and more gap power stuff with Ken, which feels backwards somehow. But hey, man, I'm not going to argue with the results. That's for sure.
I'm not going to argue with the results of the split carries either, because I think to your point, though, I think that if we see this division of relative 50-50, if this is what keeps both backs healthy throughout the season, if we get to see a full season of K9 because he's splitting carries and not getting more than 15 per game, like I'll take a full season of K9 if he's able to rush for over 100 with under 15 carries, because not every game is going to be this disparity between K9 and Charbonnet and only one able to have success. Because while Jacob pointed to the zone versus gap, and they did seem to do more zone with Sharbs, they also did less blocking for Sharbs when he was doing those zone type runs. Like, I saw multiple plays where it was that sweep to the outside, and it was, as much as we're celebrating like Gray Zabel getting downfield and helping lay that final block for K9 to get into the end zone, there were a lot of those outside stretch plays where it was Zabel that was not, that it was his man that he was supposed to block that was getting beat, where he was getting beat, and Charbonnet was the one getting tackled in the backfield. So I'm not, I know people want to declare themselves on whether or not Zabel's future Hall of Fame or entirely a scrub. I'm going to sit on the fence for this just a little bit longer.
And can we just settle on quality starter?
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with that. Thrilled. Like, if Zabel could be a quality starter at guard, because we haven't seen that in years and years and years. I think that's great. I see Warren in the comments saying just go with the hot hand. And this is, I agree with Warren a lot here. So I watched a lot of football over the weekend, and there was one team that split carries between their backs in a way, in a proportion that I thought made all the sense in the world and looked amazing. It was the Atlanta Falcons. They got Bijan out there. He's clearly their more explosive runner. They're better guy out of the backfield. And I think Ken Walker's great at catching the football. I think he's very good at it. I don't know that Sharbs is any better at that, but you get him in space and it's even more electric. So I like the way that they use Bijan and Algier in their proportions of reps. It was probably something like 4-1, something like that. And it worked out really nicely. And not only that, but they used Bijan early, and then when they got up late and they were trying to pound the rock and go more to 4-minute offense and things like that, then it was time for Algier, and he came in and just bludgeoned the hell out of them, the Vikings. So I want to see something closer to that. This run a guy for a few one Bijan and Bijani touches. Yeah. Bijan. How do you say that?
I think
Bijanian touches. Yes. Seeing the way that they did that in comparison to getting Ken Walker out there for a series, have him start ripping it up, then pull him for 2 series and give it to Sharbs, and then go back for 2 series to Ken Walker, and then go back to 2 series for Sharbs is nonsense to me. It's absolute nonsense. That's not how running backs get their rhythm. Like, take those first couple drives, see which guy has the hot hand, whichever that is, feed him the rest of the game. And I promise you, over the course of the season, that will balance out so that both guys should be healthy by the end. But this split at 50-50 during the games, it's not helping.
Lisa Carlson coming in live. Let's talk more about the superhero D-line with Sisyphus, the Minotaur, and Nightcrawler doing damage and wrecking dudes. Maybe Murph can be Juggernaut. No, Murphy was Nightcrawler. He was the one that had the play where he suddenly was on one side of the line and then all of a sudden in the backfield and making a tackle. So, yeah, we got to find out. And who is Sisyphus?
That would have to be Jaron Reed. Just because he's been here before and had to push this rock up the hill before, like all that stuff. And I mean, we're all in agreement, right? That Derek Hall's the Minotaur.
Yeah, that's yes. He's the Minotaur.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Because he's terrifying to offensive linemen, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love the Minotaur nickname for Derek Hall. That one's got to stick with the show for sure.
There we go.
All right, so we've talked offense. We've talked a little offensive line. Any more on the offensive line that we need to get? Maybe we should close on special teams, Adam, because that was maybe one of the deciding factors in this game, but maybe not something we can count on getting in every game. Although we've had 2 games now of sample size where special teams has helped keep this game, one, put it away, And two, we had a blocked field goal against the Niners, and that helped us stay in that game too. And Nate Smeltzer saying special teams under Harbaugh is glistening nicely.
Can you give Jay Harbaugh credit for a rookie not knowing the rules about live balls on kickoff?
You can give them credit for the idea that this is something that they had been practicing for, though, during the week leading up to the game. So it's a credit to our team actually knowing the rule, because how many times have we seen other teams where, gosh, the ball goes in the end zone, it sits there, and then like nobody goes over and touches it? Like that is something that we could have seen played out if Jay Harbaugh didn't teach his team the rules. Like the ball could have just gone and stopped short of the end zone, and if nobody went over and touched it, then I guess it maybe would have been a touchback.
I mean, okay, but also too, like, players go to ball. Like, I don't know how much coaching you need on that. I'm not killing Jay Harbaugh either at this point, but to your point, again, ups and downs. I mean, some of the field goal misses / blocks and all of that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him over the course of the season. I don't think he's solidified his job after these two performances by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think he's cost himself his job over the last two performances either.
Well, there you go. Adam's sitting on the fence as to whether special teams coach Jay Harbaugh will continue to be coached by the end of the season of the special teams.
Just sample sizes, man. Sample sizes.
I think there's sample sizes where it's enough to be excited. There's some where you still want to be tentative. And even, I guess we don't have this. Is there anybody on the team to where we've had like dumpster fire sample sizes for 2 games, but we still think that they have the ability to turn it around? Is there any player that matches that description? I don't think there is.
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, no, not even Woolen.
Tyrese when you Knight, he didn't have a terrible game.
But yeah, nobody that you're consistently looking at and being like, that guy, that's the weakest link, goodbye. Like, no, there's been good grit among this group to be able to rebound from mistakes at points and also not to get too high after big plays. And that's been refreshing. And that goes back to a team taking on the personality of its coach. I mean, that's Coach Mike to a T, right?
Yeah. And it's refreshing in chat that we didn't have just a list of names up here of suggestions of who that might be. So yeah, thank you to chat for solidifying maybe what we were already thinking with no dumpster fires so far.
No dumpster fires. You got to love that. And also not being 0-2. Definitely love that.
Not being 0-2 is key because it seemed like going into that game, it was a very real possibility. And I still wouldn't have been completely down in the dumps because the Saints are coming up next. They are 0-2 and coming into Seattle. And not going to get into a ton with the Saints, but just an early preview. Alvin Kamara is still really good.
Alvin Kamara is still very good. And if you want to get a little bit of Saints perspective on the upcoming game, Clinton and I just did a Behind the Enemy Lines show with TJ Jones of State of the Saints. And he was great. He's full of facts, logic, and reason, which I love very much. And it doesn't take a rocket surgeon, Michael, to know that we're the better team than the Saints going into this game. So I'm glad that he loves that phrase. It's going to be in his head now, and he won't be able to stop using it. That's something you're doing now, Michael, for at least
rocket
5-6
surgeon
months.
Is a term that has been with this show since its inception 12 years ago. Like, this is a saying that Adam has always used, and 12 years in, he will continue to use it. And Lisa Carlson may be coming up with the slogan of the season. Hopefully we can keep it going. 2025 Seahawks, no dumpster fires.
No dumpster fires. That'd be cool. And look, and that's saying a ton when you're going from the offensive line play that we had the last couple of years, specifically last year, and OC stuff to this year. It is unbelievably refreshing and exciting. And I think they were 2-0 at this point last year because I think they started 4-0. And I feel way better about this start in the style of play and all of that in comparison to what we had going last year.
This is a style of play that's sustainable once we get into November and December. And yes, if the 12 is one thing doesn't catch on, then maybe we can get Coach Mike to hang on to the no dumpster fires tagline. Maybe we can get that on the back of the helmets in one of these home games.
Nah, he's going to go with your 2025 Seattle Seahawks, no rocket surgeons here.
No rocket surgeons. Michael Knight saying, can we get a home win? Gosh, I hope so, because there's been times in the past, Adam, where we've played the Saints, and the Saints have not necessarily been the better team, and yet it's a Saints team that's come away with a win. Like, I'm talking about post-Drew Brees Saints teams that had no business winning and able to beat our Seahawks.
True. The Saints aren't one of those teams, though, that give me dread the way that the Steelers have over the years.
Yeah.
And so I feel good going into this game. And the cool thing is that we're so fired up about all the different things we're seeing with this team, and yet there's still room to grow. And you guys just hit it on the head with, can we win a home game? So Mike's got it figured out on the road. He's got that sauce, and he's cooking. Let's see him get this home stuff figured out. And you'd think that that would be something that might be a little easier to do, but it takes a while to break trends. And I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to get it done. And when he does, man, this complimentary football that they're beginning to play, you take that to Lumen Field and play consistently with it, you're going to be tough to beat.
Ryan 911 saying, I believe Mike Macdonald will have us up for this game. And Lisa saying, yeah, but it was our run defense that was part of the reason that maybe we struggled against Alvin Kamara in the past. And after this is what makes me just a little bit nervous. And we can get into this more when we do Thursday night actual preview. But I am concerned about this, that Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, even though they're old, they can still put up that type of production against this defense. And we just saw Christian McCaffrey put up pretty good production against this defense.
I think I told TJ on the behind enemy lines thing about at least 5 times that Alvin Kamara terrifies me. Like, he does, because he's carved us up time and time again. But this run defense has looked extremely legit going into these first 2 games, and I'm excited to see what they can do there. Plus, I think it's going to be difficult for them to get Spencer Rattler to make us pay in any way for making sure that Kamara isn't going to be killing us here. So not a ton of concern there. But again, we'll get into it more, and we'll have a bunch of Saints related content coming up for you guys later this week. And to you 101 beautiful little flockers that are here with us live. Oh, now 100. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Didn't mean to call you beautiful.
One away.
Didn't mean to call you beautiful. Look, man, we have been in algorithm purgatory for a little while now. In last live show we did, asked you if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, make a comment. You know, if you're really feeling it, hit subscribes. We hate asking. It's honestly as annoying to us as it is to you. But if you could do that, that would be really cool, because I think it's stupid that AI and algorithms can tell you like how popular you are any given day.
It's fine. It's fine. We would like to get this out to more folks, so it does help. So even if you are a consistent listener, it's not you. It's just us wanting to grow the show even a little bit more. I see Dana OG coming in.
Is that Dana? What up, Dana? Yeah.
Got to see
Dana
awesome
at
the press box ahead of the game. That was fun. I'm looking forward to being out there once again for the Saints game. I'll be traveling out there. One other thing before we close and get into some welcome to the flock and do better and better at life, Adam, for Mary, who was asking about some canine love earlier, Hawk Blogger had a post out on X this just earlier this week saying, how rare was that Ken Walker touchdown run against the Steelers? No player had ever scored a touchdown on a run of 19 plus yards in a 3rd or 4th and goal situation in NFL history.
Well, in history?
Well,
wow.
Okay, think about this as it is
like
it
even
is
the Super Bowl
shocking
era and whatever.
when you say and could be Super Bowl era, and definitely Super Bowl era, because if you think about it, what are teams not doing on 3rd and 19 plus and goal to go? Like, they're not running the football. And if they are, it's generally like we all thought, and what even the announcers thought as Sam Darnold handed the ball off to K9. Like, we all thought that this was, a third down give up play, and they're going to go and kick a field goal. And that's generally what you see. And so we were all shocked and excited and jumping off the couch and high-fiving whoever was in front of us that K9 able to score on that play. And yes, so if you had that feeling of what I'm seeing right now is very special, that was a very special play because it had not happened that far outside of the end zone to be able to punch it in.
That is honestly mind-blowing because you asked, well, how many teams are running it on 19 yards to go, 3rd and goal? And I would guess that there was probably quite a few just give up plays, make your field goal position a little closer, a lot like maybe Kubiak was thinking in that moment. And you'd think at least one of them would have busted. But then again, not everybody's as special as Kenneth Walker III. So, like,
I don't know. That guy dances too much. I'm not sure if I trust
Is
him
it the
in those
tango?
situations.
Is it the waltz? Is he line dancing? Like, what dancing is he not doing?
I know that if I'm going to learn to dance, it's going to be because one of our executive producers, Adam DCH, out there. We got Ryan Peterson, our live YouTube executive producer, JC Schilling in the 313th, and Brian Shaw and Adam. With the first victory of the regular season, it means we have a $31.17 donation from Stephen Kirkpatrick coming in via Zelle, as he does when the Seahawks win with the score donation. A big thank you to Stephen.
The only thing more consistent than this fantastic defense and our head coach, Mike Macdonald, is Stephen. Like, that's amazing. Thank you for your generosity, man. Big time, helps the channel. Thank you a ton.
And we've got Snake Pit, who became a 4-pound member, saying, hi, Brandon and Adam, longtime listener. And after hearing my Pick'em team name, Hertfordshire Hawk, called out on the pod after winning week 1, it made me realize I'd gone way over my freeloader grace period. As a UK NFL fan, not many of my friends enjoy the NFL, and those who do are Broncos, Saints, and Steelers fans. So thank you for this podcast. It has definitely made my Seahawks fandom better to have your shows to listen to each week. Go Hawks, from Matthew.
Hey, Matthew. I mean, I kind of don't trust him with the snake part of his name. You know how I feel about snakes. But
Snake.
No, gross. double gross. But with that said, hey, man, if you're stuck around a bunch of Broncos fans and all the other ones you listed over there in the UK, I know immigration's a hot topic, but we'll take you. Come on over.
Especially as Seahawks fans, I think there's a check mark that we're petitioning to get put on the immigration forms, and you sail right through. If it's not there on the immigration form yet, you just make your own little checkbox on the form and say, yes, I'm coming to America, but I'm doing it because it's to be a Seahawks fan. And I guarantee you, we've got friends in the immigration office. They'll punch you right through.
I'm pretty sure on the Statue of Liberty, the plaque reads something like, give us your poor, your tired, your huddled masses, and poor bastards surrounded by people with poor NFL fandoms. So, like, it's right there.
It's right there. You get right in. John Davison coming in saying hi. An extra bonus from Met halftime of the Steelers game. I was at the game yesterday between Newcastle v. Wolverhampton Wanderers. I took the photos to show you, and John sent me some photos, to what I meant from last week. The first one shows you St. James Park and the view from my seat. The second one shows you the upper tier of the Leeds End. And if you look, you can see that the section is for away fans. Note the stewards in orange to stop any fighting, etc. This is what happens at all Premier League games. Spot the Wolves fans in their old gold shirts. This is Bloomy's team, and we won 1-0. Thought you might be interested. Cheers from John Davison. Adam, have we found the solution? Does the Bard know that we just need to get into more violent interactions with opposing fans so that way we can segregate them into their own section of the stadium?
No. I think especially in the last few weeks and everything, we could probably do with a little less of the violence.
A little bit less? Okay, good idea.
Yeah, a little fewer bullets, a little fewer of the dyings. Yeah, no,
we're just talking about punching at sporting events. That's
just punching.
If that tones it down everywhere else, then maybe we're onto something.
Well, it maybe. Yeah, maybe I'm totally off
It's
base
like
here.
at the hockey game. What they don't stop those guys from fighting, and they don't have, people taking off their skates and using them as sharp blades against each other. They allow them to fight with their fists, and it tones down the violence in other places.
Maybe that's true. But then again, none of them are Raiders, so
It's true.
yeah.
Give a Raider a hockey skate. Watch out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all his problems are necks.
All right, on to do better and better at life, Adam.
All right. Well, you think I would have had this pulled up, but I thought we were still going there. I did see some comments here asking about Evie in the Pick'em League. We have not heard from Evie for a moment, and we are running amok without our benevolent overlord. So if Evie or Hugh, like if you're hearing this, we need you. We need you.
I think it was after week 1, and there were maybe 4 people who break protocol and pick against the Seahawks. Because it is. I think that when we have the Pick'em League, people want to go, not only just to check their scores, to see how they shook out in the standings, but they're checking to see who picked against our Seahawks, especially in weeks where they followed the rules and picked the Seahawks correctly, and then to see that there's like 4 other people who did not follow the rules. I was the one to switch them back. I didn't need to wait for Evie's cue, so she might be moved on to a different stage of her life where she has like more schoolwork and not able to monitor our Pick'em League, which is totally understandable. Like we will find a way, but some leadership there would be appreciated.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she might have just got tired of having to be the adult in the room, to be honest. It's which is totally fair. That makes sense. But yeah, looking forward to hearing from you. She'll, at the very least, she'll give us a farewell address, I think. Yeah, for sure. All right, man. On to do better, as you said. My do better this week is for Don LaGreca of ESPN Radio New York. And he's going full conspiracy theory, Brandon. Like, for this next week. For those of you who live under a rock, the Giants play the Kansas City Chiefs next week. And Don just knows exactly what's going to happen. This was his quote. The NFL is not going to allow the Chiefs to start 0-3. Call me a conspiracy theorist. ESPN can fire me. I don't think he means that. The NFL is not going to allow the Kansas City Chiefs to lose that game on national television and be 0-3. That's not going to happen. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are getting married later. No way. Who knew? They're engaged. They got all this nationally televised. I'm telling you, we're going to sit here and there's going to be at least 3 calls where we're like, how did that happen? You might start thinking about Don. Well, everything else happened throughout that game because the Chiefs are going to put the stymie on that Giants offense. Like, it's going to be a rough day for the New York Football Giants, I think, offensively. And it's going to have nothing to do with the fact of ratings or some Chiefs conspiracy. Just face it, Chiefs have been damn good for a long time. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. Your Giants have sucked balls forever. So I understand why maybe you're reaching for conspiracies at this point and all that stuff. But, dude, it ain't going to be the league and the Zebras keeping you guys from winning. It's your own ownership, your own GM, your own franchise. So to Don LaGreca, do better.
Okay. Now just 2 weeks into doing this live, my favorite thing now with producer Clinton in the background is him queuing up titles of the do better. So now it's going to give us the opportunity to maybe mess with Clinton a little bit and try and key up a caption for either do better or better at life. Maybe won't happen this week, but it's something for us now to think about and keep Clinton on his toes.
I like it.
My do better this week, Adam, is for the NFL preview production team. I was up on YouTube ahead of this game watching the Seahawks versus Steelers, the week 2 game preview. And I watched the about 4 minutes, 15 seconds of the preview. And at the 4:15 mark of the video, it says, here's a Steelers-Seahawks game that you may remember. And they went into nearly a full minute of highlights from Super Bowl 40. And It caught me so off guard, and it felt so out of place that it was like, okay, here's a preview of a game, and now, hey, Seahawks fans, take this. And so it surely was some Steelers fan, some no-name Steelers fan on the production team putting this thing together for the YouTube video. Yeah, preview, review, kick rocks, do better.
Yeah, do better. I just got done yelling at a dude for complaining about bad officiating. But you know what? They had that wrong when they said a Seahawks-Steelers game that you may remember. It was a Seahawks-Steelers zebra game. Like, there was a third team in black and white that the Seahawks had to play that day. It was tough. It was tough sledding.
I was so mad. I was so mad watching that preview video and a game from, because how long has it been? It's almost 20 years ago now. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's more recent Steelers games that I do remember that were definitely better officiated.
Yeah. The outcomes may not have been fun still, but yeah, better officiated at the very least. Yeah, boo to you guys, NFL and your preview people.
And Ryan, yes, all referee highlights. That would have been the way to do it.
I think the word you were looking for was lowlights.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
on to Better at Life.
My Better at Life than Skip Bayless this week is for somebody that we've known and held near and dear to our hearts for a long time. And that's for Russell Carrington Wilson. He went out there this week and he had himself a throwback game, throwing bombs all over top of the Dallas Cowboys. It was so fun to watch. I was so fired up for him. We're not going to talk about the late interception. That's fine. Things happen. But the rest of Russ was dealing. And he was looking like old Russ. And after what he took from Giants fans last week when he was under siege the whole game, they're like, that dude stinks. It's like, well, okay, that's fine. He may not be what he used to be, but you still have to block for him. And this week he got after it, and the sexy deep balls, they were back for Russ. And they probably won't see that sort of thing again for the rest of the year, because I can't imagine another team dumb enough to stay in single high an entire game after you're getting smoked time and time again deep. But, for us, for week 2, better at life than Skip Bayless.
That was fun to see. I just wish that they would have been able to, that Giants defense not being able to close it down and do some tackling in the final seconds. At some point, it's going to be Russ's final season. I don't know when it is. It's definitely coming sooner than later. I want Russell Wilson to have like some just vintage Russ games on his way out. And so that's what I thought we might be getting.
Like a Kurt Warner Cardinals performance, like a season like that somewhere.
And they don't have to go to the playoffs and that sort of thing. Like, we don't need to get crazy with it.
No, just good.
Just good.
Yeah. I think that would be nice for us. I know there's a lot of folks that really do still sports hate Russell Wilson. That's fine. You're allowed to. I just don't.
I think that for some folks, it's probably just not quite going to get there until after he retires and after you look back on all the really cool Russ moments. That I think that him leaving in the way that he did, it sours people for a good amount of time, and we're all going to get over it in our own amount of time. But I just want to see him have just that little bit of success to go out on that can point back to and say, yeah, that's why I remember loving Russ the way I did.
For sure. But damn, to your point about the final 14 seconds, I mean, that felt like, Seahawks Falcons flashbacks of 2012 a little bit, where you're like, just play up. Like, come on, do what you've been doing all game. Like, why be so soft and play this incredibly soft zone when, especially when you have Brandon Aubrey, like, who can bomb it from his own end zone, probably through the uprights. Like, dudes, like, you have no room for error.
Yeah. You gotta play up and play on those guys. Well, my better at life this week, I hate to end this on a downer, but Adam, one of our podcasting pioneers, a dude who we knew through the podcast awards, Todd Cochrane, he was the CEO of Blueberry. He passed away this past week, and just 61 years old, and just a real bummer that we lost a dude that, because some people may look at us and say, oh, these guys have been in it for 12 years. Oh, they must be like OGs of podcasting. And no, when we think about the OGs of podcasting, it's guys like Todd Cochrane, who literally wrote the book on podcasting back in 2005 and talked about how podcasting represents a new way for individuals to communicate about things they love. They can broadcast content that comes from their hearts and are able to communicate with other people in a new and exciting way. That was back in 2005. That was back before we even had Apple and iTunes that helped really build the podcasting game even more. And so to do what he did, to build a company like Blueberry, who helped everyday podcasters, like we've hosted with Libsyn, who was a competitor of Blueberry. Those two companies have really been in this for as long as anybody else. And the fact that, they were both competitors, but both very cordial, like both the guys who run those, both in the Podcasting Hall of Fame. And so, yes, rest in peace, Todd Cochrane, a Navy veteran as well. And he was actually, we were serving in the same time while he was starting his podcast and starting podcasting and starting to build his Blueberry company. And so once he got out, that's really when his company started to take off. And he's been, doing the podcasting thing and getting people into it ever since. And so, yes, to Todd Cochrane, better at life than Skip Bayless.
Yeah, Todd, one of the pod fathers for sure. And look, we stand on the shoulders of those giants, right? And get the pleasure to be able to take advantage of this medium that they created that I think has really changed the way that all of us consume media in, I think, way for the better. Like it's a big positive. Getting to long form stuff, getting to, more nuanced conversation. That's something that podcasts are great at. And, without people like Todd, this whole thing wouldn't be here. So yeah, rest in peace, my man. The only person I think that was bummed out about that more than anybody else was maybe Clinton, because he couldn't come up with some sort of witty little comment bar on the bottom for your
That's fine.
life.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Todd deserves a solid RIP. And yeah, you bring up a great point, because before we had this opportunity to get into this medium, like there wasn't a way to really niche down into smaller communities and reach those smaller communities in an easy way. Like there was through blogging, you could do that a little bit and create a community around a blog, but then to be able to have the interactive to where, you can write in and speak and hear your comments said, and then, we can all go and get together and we're all like fans of this one thing, like diehard, huge fans of this one thing. And then to be able to do that and communicate together. It's that's the reason why this all works.
Oh, and specifically for Seattle sports, right? Where we get the Southeast Alaska treatment from the national media all the time. And for us to be able to, as a fan base, as fellow professionals in this space, I'm not saying that we're necessarily professionals, but, the 710s of the world, all that, like, man, and like people like Dana and and Hawk Blogger and everybody that's in our space, like to be able to come together and create content for you guys and for us 12s so that we actually get some coverage and we get some attention. And even if we have to create it for ourselves, I think that's one of the things that podcasting has been just amazing for. And I'm grateful for, because I mean, up until then you had to have ESPN kind of budget to do anything that would have any impact.
Budget and really,
right?
But outside of the local market, you couldn't get that. And so that's kind of what it did. It brought the local market like everywhere.
Yeah. So cool stuff. And again, rest in peace, Todd. But
all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Why'd you have to end this on a downer, dude? I didn't know where to go from there.
I was trying to bring us back up, and I didn't have a great way to do it. I'm sorry. But talking about the community, talking about podcasts, that felt like the way to bring it back up.
There you go. And see, and it's brought us all together to hear all of you wonderful folks in chat, all the people that have joined us live, all of us that got to enjoy the Seahawks, kick the Steelers in the teeth last Sunday. That was awesome. And it's been a great weekend. And I can't wait to do it again against the Saints this upcoming week, man.
And I think with that,
There's only one thing left to say.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks.